Good evening, everybody. It's a great pleasure to preside over a function where Dr. Subramanian Swamy is going to be to give the lecture, and he is the chief guest. I have known him for over 20 years, roughly. He is one of the most brilliant minds in the country, and as Dr. T.H. Chaudhary has said, he is a one-man army. And what he has done to expose corruption in this country, I don't think the entire setup of the government of India, all the vigilance commissions, all the CBI, and then CVC, enforcement, nobody could have done that. And that is what he has achieved by his case in the 2G scam. Now, that introduction part was skipped in the beginning. Everybody knows Dr. Swamy, so there is no need for introduction. But still, I must say, as I said, he is one of the most brilliant, incisive minds. His analysis, you can't find fault with that. That's why when he files a case against somebody, I think they shiver in their pants, the others, He once told me that he made certain allegations when he was abroad, correct allegations, against Mrs. Gandhi. And the Congress party got very annoyed. And so what they did was, they filed a case against him, defamation case, in one of the US courts. So he said, fine, there is no problem at all. But Congress cannot file this case. Mrs. Gandhi should file because I have said things against Mrs. Gandhi. And then let her come to the court because I want to cross-examine her. That's what he was planning. So they withdrew the case, The Congress party withdrew the case. They did not proceed with the case. One more thing I must tell you. When I was Home Secretary, and I have been associated with the Home Ministry for a very long time, almost about 14 years. Dr. Subramanian Swamy on a couple of occasions had told me certain things relating to intelligence. And they were so shocking, my own intelligence bureau did not know those things. And when I asked Dr. Swamy, I checked up with the IB, later on they all proved to be correct. Then I asked him once, sir, where do you get this information? I mean, even our IB could not get this information. Even after you mentioned this, they took quite some time to verify that. How did you get this information? He said, Padmanabhaya, don't forget, I have students spread all over the world, and they are in high positions, and they know the truth. And then they tell me, I mean, they may not tell your IB, but they would tell me. That is the depth of the knowledge he has. Now, coming back to so we are grateful that he is here. Coming back to the subject is India in crisis. How do we save our nation? Dr. Chaudhary Garu has mentioned various things about how the nation is in crisis. I mean, nobody doubts that it is in crisis, but whatever he has mentioned are the causes, are the symptoms of that illness. Now, what is the illness? That I would leave it to Dr. Subramanian Swamy to diagnose, on that. But let me tell you the status of this illness. I have been with the government for about 50 years. I quit recently. In these 50 years, I have never seen a situation as bad as it is today. I am not exaggerating. I think this is the worst that could be reached in the country's governance. Now, in addition to whatever he has said, there can be, I can fill the whole hour mentioning what is wrong. But let me ask, why is this like this? Why is country in a crisis? Don't we have the resources? Don't we have the brains? Don't we have the manpower, human resources? I think this country has one of the richest human resources anywhere in the world. As far as natural resources also are concerned, I think we may not be the richest, but we certainly have more than sufficient mineral and forest and water resources. Now, then what is the crisis? I think the crisis is one of management, governance. There is nothing else other than this. I think if we have a good government, I think India would be one of the top rung of the society, That means what? I think the will to rule or the will to govern or will to do the right thing is missing from the government. That is the only thing that is missing, And how do we make them get that will? I don't know. That is another thing which I would leave it to him. But let me give you a couple of examples how they do, and without really meaning to do anything. it's a make-believe world, you know. Whatever laws they pass, they are all very defective laws. I would give you an example. Benami Properties Attachment Act. It was passed in 1988. How many years is it now? God knows, 25 years or whatever it is. I don't think there is a single prosecution under that particular act. Do you know why? Because they have not designated the competent authority under that particular act, you know, till very recently, till about 3-4 years ago. There were no rules framed under that particular act. So the act continues to be there. Isn't it tamasha? Another example I would give you. Under pressure from the international community for a long time, in 1999 actually they pressurized the government saying that you must pass a Prevention of Money Laundering Act. And ultimately government woke up and then they took 2-3 years, and 2002 they passed that act. And again the rules were not framed. And the law was so defective, not a single prosecution could take place. So they had amended it in 2005 for the first time and then framed the rules, and again made another amendment in 2009 or so. And I think now a couple of cases are being dealt under that. So like this, I can give you tens and tens of examples, you know, on this. Now, CBI, investigative agencies and all that. The case went to the Supreme Court, that Vineet Narayan's case, 1997. In 1997, Supreme Court has said that CBI must be independent from the government. An autonomy as far as their working is concerned. That's what they have said. They have repeated it in 2-3 other cases, but nothing happens. It is still under the government, and though they lip sympathy, you know, they say it is independent, everybody knows how it is, you know. Then this ailing of the nation, the India in crisis, it not only affects the government, it also affects the private sector, the corporate sector. He had written a book some years ago, Satyam Sundaram Spectrum. So I don't know how many of you have read that. Incidentally, he's a great writer. He has written over 15 books, you know, on various subjects. Now in that book he has mentioned about the corporate corruption. But look at this case. One of the best business schools in the country is in Hyderabad, the Indian School of Business. But almost everybody connected with that has something or the other. They have been thrown out, they were involved in some scandal or the other. One of them is now, right now, facing a trial in New York, you know. So it has not spared anybody. So the crony capitalism and corruption are the topmost issues now, and unless these are tackled, and corruption, what it has done to our public sector, I would just give 2 cases. Air India, it used to be our Maharaja. The Maharaja has gone not even a beggar, you know. I mean, they are looking everywhere for some money to save themselves. Look at BSNL. BSNL used to make thousands of crores of profits. Today it is in a loss of about 7,000 crores. In a couple of years, it has gone to that position. Why? I think one needs to look at these things. Now, what needs to be done? What needs to be done is, government answer seems to be only one. You keep hearing in the newspapers. Allow FDI in retail sector. Allow FDI in sort of services. Bring it more into insurance, in banking, in airlines. Is this the answer for us? Now what is wanting is, your industry is not growing, your manufacturing is not going. Unless you have a base there, obviously nothing can be done. So this is all a sort of make-believe world, you know, just to fool the people, and nothing beyond that. Take the case of Andhra Pradesh itself. Somebody has described it as the corruption capital of the country, CCC. Like the PPP, you know, you have public private partnership. Now CCC can be sort of there. Now I am quite worried about this PPP business also. I think one has to be in future very, very careful about how these PPPs would work. The CAG is already asking that he should be given power to audit those things also. Now the point I wanted to mention is, in Andhra Pradesh, even though so much has happened and so much is happening, they are cancelling these land allotments. You know, you have been reading in the newspapers. Okay, you cancel the allotments, but what further action are you taking against the fellows who has passed those orders in the first instance? Is it not necessary that you must do something? So the point is, uh, yeah, I mean, this is the state of the nation. So I don't want to take more time. You have all come to hear Dr. Subramaniam Swamy. So I would sort of finish my speech here, and I would request Dr. Subramaniam Swamy to take over.